This isn't a campaign. This isn't an RNC. I'm not out on the political campaign. I didn't get none of that 1.5.
Does Nelly come back to St. Louis and visit?
Come on, man. He always say Louis, but only at the casino. That's where he lose all his money at. And then he go down there on the dub and get his
DL Hughley just dropped a bomb saying Nelly owes Donald Trump $1 million.
Nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo ass niggas gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the fuck one of you Uncle Tom for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first? I was the one that's performed.
Yeah, you heard that right. According to DL, the same man who once told the world to ride with me is now supposedly riding on a debt. And not to a bank, not to the IRS, but to Trump himself.
Nelly, congratulations for that 1.5 million you got for that.
The internet went crazy. Fans didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or call cap. Because if what DL's saying is true, then Nelly's not just facing money problems. He's facing humiliation. And if it's not true, then DL just pulled one of the boldest shots in recent gossip history. Either way, it's messy. And we got to break this one down.
Wait, that's not what I'm saying at all. That's why I'm not telling you who to vote for. But what I'm saying is that he's the president of the United States. He's not the candidate for the United States. He's the president.
It started when DL Hughley went live on his show talking about celebrity hypocrisy, fake friendships, and how fame has a way of humbling people. Then out of nowhere, he dropped Nelly's name. He said, "These rappers love to act like they're bosses, but half of them owes somebody. I know for a fact one of them owes Trump $1 million." Silence. And then the internet went off because DL didn't need to say the name twice. Everybody knew he was talking about Nelly. Within minutes, clips hit Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. The quote was everywhere.
He come back to St. Louis and visit?
Come on, man. He always say Louis, but only at the casino. That's where he lose all his money at. And then he go down there on the dub and get his right? And he go over there on Shreve and get his perks. And then he go down there and get his exit. He be at all the dope spots just getting shit. Well, but he always get it on credit. Like he still don't get no money for that. Okay, everything he get off his love, off because he Nelly. That's what I don't know he up yet. That's what I want. But he need to give me my 50 million. That's what I'm on. You saw he get caught with the ecstasy, so you know I ain't cap. You saw that. Yeah, he go in St. Louis, get his little and go there and lose all his money to the casino. Right? That's my 50 million at. My 50 million down in that casino. Stop playing on me. Stop playing on me. Down, baby. Stop playing.
So Nelly spends all his money. Spent all his money. How are you gonna get your money from him if he's broke?
Casino. I want the Masters game. You don't get it. It ain't about the money. I want the Masters. I want what's mine. See, he ain't gonna be able to pay me. His card gonna decline, and when his card declines, the Masters is mine. Stop playing with me. I want the house. I want everything. I want Ashanti game. Ashanti look good on me. Stop playing with me. How you think?
DL Hughley exposes Nelly's secret debt to Trump. Nelly broke. DL says he's owing $1 million. Nelly caught in a money scandal. And once people started pulling up old receipts, tax issues, label drama, lawsuits, it started to look like maybe, just maybe, DL wasn't lying.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo ass gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the fuck one of you.
Now, before we get into whether this is true or not, let's talk about why this story hit so hard. See, Nelly isn't just any rapper. He's one of the most successful artists of the 2000s. Diamond certified chart topper, radio king, Hot and Hera, country grammar, Dilemma. Those records defined an entire era. 4 years, Nelly represented money, fame, and clean success. He wasn't gangster. He wasn't underground. He was the crossover superstar, the guy who made the Midwest mainstream. So when you hear that same man owes $1 million to Donald Trump, that's like hearing Michael Jordan renting shoes. It don't sound real. Don't sound possible. But that's exactly why people tuned in. Because DL Hughley isn't just some blogger throwing shade. He's a veteran. He's respected. He's connected. And when DL speaks, people listen, even if they don't like what he says. So when he said Nelly owed Trump, it wasn't just a diss, it was a statement. Let's rewind for a second. Why Donald Trump? Why Nelly? What's the connection? Turns out this goes deeper than just money.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo ass gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the fuck.
See, Nell's been around Trump's orbit before. Quietly behind the scenes. Back in the early 2000s, when Trump was expanding his brand outside politics, he had ties with entertainment figures, charity events, sponsorship deals, even small real estate investments involving celebrity names. Rumor has it Nelly got involved in one of those ventures, a luxury project that went south when Trump's company pulled out. There were whispers about unpaid fees, unreturned investments, and hush-hush settlements. Nothing ever confirmed publicly, but insiders have hinted for years that Nelly's team took a hit from a deal connected to Trump's network. Now, DL Hughley bringing it up in 2025, that's either a reminder or a revelation, because DL claims it wasn't just a bad investment, it was a debt. Straight up. He said that boy owed money to Trump and he ain't paid it. That's why you don't see him talking politics no more. The timing couldn't have been worse for Nelly. Just recently, people were already speculating about his finances. Remember that tax issue a few years back when fans streamed Hot and Harry nonstop to help him pay off back taxes? That moment became part of pop culture. Fans literally saved his bag by running his streams up. Then there were rumors about label debts, lawsuits, and even a few failed investments. And while Nelly's been smiling in interviews, posting good vibes with Ashanti, and performing on nostalgia tours, the question of money has never gone away completely. So when DL said the words $1 million and Donald Trump in the same breath, it hit hard. Felt like an exposed nerve. The internet did what it always does. It investigated. Fans started digging through old clips, old business filings, charity events, and Trump-linked entertainment projects. They found pictures of Nelly at Trump Tower from years back. They found records of a performance at a private Trump event in the early 2000s. They even found mentions of a supposed endorsement check that never cleared. None of it confirmed the $1 million claim directly, but it sure made people wonder, why was Nelly doing business with Trump in the first place? Why is DL bringing this up now? Is this personal or political? Because the truth is, DL Hughley has been one of the loudest anti-Trump voices in comedy. He's called Trump a racist, a con artist, a fraud, all of it. So if DL found out that a rapper he respects once took money from Trump, you know he's going to make it public. This wasn't just about exposing debt. It was about exposing loyalty. DL went on to say, "These dudes will talk about the struggle, about the hood, about the people, but when it's time to pay their bills, they run to Trump Tower. Don't preach to me about the streets when you're borrowing from a man who don't even like you." That's a brutal line, and it hit Nelly's image like a wrecking ball, because Nelly's always been the cool, laid-back, clean-cut success story. The Midwest rapper who never needed controversy to stay relevant. Now DL's painting him as a sellout, a man who owes a racist millionaire and stays quiet about it. And fans are divided. Half the internet is defending Nelly, saying DL's out of line and clout chasing. The other half is saying DL's doing what he always does, speaking uncomfortable truths nobody else will. Nelly himself hasn't said much publicly, at least not yet. But people close to him have reportedly denied the story, calling it false and inflammatory. They said DL's spreading gossip with no receipts. But here's the thing. In today's world, once a story hits the internet, denial almost doesn't matter. The damage is already done. People believe what sounds dramatic. And Nelly owes Trump $1 million sounds very dramatic. But let's look deeper. If there's even a grain of truth in this, what does that say about the industry? Because let's be real, a lot of artists go broke in silence. They don't post about the bad months. They don't tweet when the money runs out. You'll never see a caption that says, "The label pulled funding," or "My tour didn't break even." Nah, they just post highlights, Bentley's bottles, backstage passes. But what you don't see is the credit cards maxed out, the loans for management, the checks that bounce. You don't see the promoters who never paid, the business manager who disappeared with the taxes, or the 5-year deals that look good on paper but pay out pennies. And DL Hughley, whether you like him or not, might have just cracked that whole facade. Because his message wasn't really about Nelly alone. It was about everybody hiding behind smoke and filters. The rappers, the comedians, the influencers, the so-called moguls, the whole machine that sells success but lives on survival. DL said it straight. You think these rappers rich? You think these comedians own their mansions? They leasing everything. One bad deal and they crying about taxes. They living on borrowed money and borrowed time. That line hit like a slap across the culture because people know it's true. Behind the glitz, behind the cars, the jewelry, and the rented penthouses, most artists are playing a dangerous game of appearances. They're not rich. They're leveraged. Living off advances, living off label credit, living off tour loans and merchandise fronts. You see them flashing $100,000 chains on Instagram, but you don't see the clause in their contracts saying they owe the label 5 albums before they see real profit. You see the Rolls-Royce, but you don't see the monthly payment that's higher than the average house note. Most of these artists aren't millionaires. They're middle-class people with million-dollar lifestyles they can't maintain without the machine propping them up. And when that machine pulls the plug, it's over. That's what DL was really saying when he dropped Nelly's name. He wasn't just exposing one man. He was exposing a pattern, a cycle. The way the industry builds stars up to look invincible, then watches them crumble in silence once the lights go out. Because when money gets tight in entertainment, nobody tells the truth. They double down on the illusion. They start doing more appearances, more features, more brand partnerships. Anything to make it look like business is booming. But behind closed doors, it's desperation. That's why DL's words hit like a punch. Because everybody in the game knows someone who's quietly drowning. A rapper who can't pay their team. A comedian who's doing cheap gigs after selling out arenas last year. A singer who lost everything after one flop. DL just said what they all whisper behind the scenes. Some fans even think DL's using Nelly as a proxy, a way to take another jab at Trump. DL's not mad at Nelly. One tweet said he's mad that Nelly ever touched Trump's money. And maybe that's true because DL's whole brand is built on accountability, calling out anyone who aligns with the wrong side, even indirectly. But if you listen closely, there's another layer here. Jealousy. Not about money but about legacy. DL's always been respected, but he's never been loved like Nelly. He's never had the music, the hits, the cultural reach. So maybe calling out Nelly gives him that extra moment of spotlight. Whatever the motive, the result's the same. Now everybody's talking about it. The memes came fast. Hot in debt must be the money, so maybe it ain't. Even country grammar tax edition. Fans are ruthless. But that's how the internet works. The moment a story breaks, it becomes content. And that's the part that stings the most because whether true or not, this story reshapes how people see Nelly. Once someone says broke, that label sticks. You could be worth 10 million tomorrow, but people remember the headline, not the truth. But let's be real, Nelly's not broke. He still tours, still performs sold-out shows, still has business ventures from alcohol brands to fitness lines. But that doesn't mean he's not facing something behind the scenes. Every star has debts, contracts, favors owed. The difference is most people keep it quiet. DL just brought it to the surface, and that's what makes this story powerful because it's not really about money. It's about pride. It's about how celebrities front success while hiding the cracks. It's about how fame makes you look rich even when you're not. And now the whole culture is watching. Will Nelly respond? Will Trump comment? Will DL double down? You already know how this game goes. Once one truth is out, 10 more start surfacing. Other names will get dragged in. Other debts will get exposed because the industry runs on whispers. And once one voice breaks the silence, the rest follow. DL might have just started something bigger than he expected. At the end of the day, though, this story is about one thing: image versus reality. DL Hughley exposed what people don't want to see. That fame doesn't guarantee freedom. That money can vanish as fast as the lights go out. That the same people smiling in pictures might be drowning in debt behind the scenes. And maybe, just maybe, that's why Nelly's quiet. Because sometimes silence ain't guilt, it's self-preservation. So what do you think? Did DL really expose the truth? Or is he just stirring the pot? Is Nelly really in debt to Trump? Or is this another internet illusion? Whatever the truth is, one thing's certain: the story's not over. Not when money, pride, and politics are in the mix. Because in hip-hop and Hollywood, the beefs fade, but the receipts never die. If you're loving these deep dives into the wildest stories from the culture, make sure to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more. This is Buzz and Drama,